Today, let's talk about 4 strategic approaches on how to enter Web3 as a brand. Hello and herzlich willkommen to the Bernhard Neumann podcast. Here you get insights, assessments, and knowledge around the topics of Web3, NFTs, and crypto. I'm your host Bernhard, and I help brands successfully enter Web3. I do this with trainings, with workshops, with strategies, and also convincing communication so that the whole thing has a method and brings results. Let's get into it. So, in my mind, there's many ways on how brands can enter Web3. That's what I do for a living. I help them to do that. But today I want to limit our focus to 4 ways. So the first way in my mind is just to create a Web3 brand. And I will have an example here for you. The second one is acquisition. You enter by acquiring a Web3 brand. So that's how you enter. Partnership is a way, and you can also start from zero. For each of those, I have an example for you that I think really shows what's going on here. And so the first one will be creating a Web3 brand. And let's take the very famous example. This is the biggest player in the NFT market right now. It's called Yuga Labs, and they have brought out the Bored Ape Yacht Club and then many more NFTs surrounding it. And what's really interesting here, so this is a Web3 native brand. It didn't exist before. It started with this PFPs that were sold for around $200 and then all of a sudden had those magical high sales for over 1 million, over 2 million actually in the top. So they got really desirable and the market speculated a lot and all of this. But at the basis is a very, very interesting concept, which is the people who own the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs, they also have the IP licensing rights. So there's a brand that was created and it's quite big now. The valuation with the last funding round was around 4 billion. So we're not talking about like a small neighborhood brand here. And so there's many reasons why this high evaluation was created. Some of it is hype. I don't think today they would get such an evaluation, but either way, there's a new kind of brand being created here. And what's the big difference? The difference is that the owners of the NFT, so the fans of the brand, the best customers of the brand, they also own part of it. They're not shareholders with their NFT, but they have the commercial licensing rights for their apes, for the what's represented, those ape monkey pictures, and they can use them to put on wine bottles, to open a coffee shop with it, to open a restaurant with it, and they can use the brand for their advantage. And by doing that, they also obviously further the brand. So there's this nice synergy here working that the people that hold the NFT, they're very much motivated, not just, from I like this brand, but also financially to drive value towards that brand. Because if it gets more desirable, if it gets more famous, it helps their business, it helps the value of their asset. And so there's this really nice effect going on that's basically viral, to be honest. Like I think this is really where the future lies for brands, where the future lies for companies. Like Web3 will show people how awesome the concept of co-ownership kind of thing and co-creation is. Like it's really magical. It has its risks for sure, because like the brand, they cannot control all those 10,000 holders and what they do with the IP rights. There's probably going to be bad things being done with it in the future. So far, I haven't really seen anything really that bad. But on the other side, you have, and actually the metaverse of Yuga Labs is called The Other Side. That's why I'm laughing. But on the other side, you have this cycle, this positive cycle I just explained, where where the brand has a certain power that people use to promote their products. It increases the visibility, the reach, and it all funnels back, and all of a sudden this asset is more worth, it's more desirable, more people want it. And yeah, that's just a really nice loop. And so far it plays out really well. There's actually like a map of the ecosystem that Yuga Labs has already created. And we've seen rapper Eminem and Snoop Dogg using their ape in a music video that's on stage. Like, this is big. And there's many, many more. We have fashion brands using Bored Ape Yacht Club, like Adidas. We will come to this in a bit. We have food, beverage, lore, physical goods, community, toys being built, podcast, education being branded with an ape. And so that's really interesting. I think for everyone, my background is branding marketing, and so I just see a new era of brands being created here, which are mostly Web3 native and have so many fabulous mechanics and dynamics because of this ownership component with the assets, with NFTs. Again, they're not like shareholders or anything, but value is driven towards those assets, no doubt. And so it's a step in the right direction. And I think this was the first case I wanted to mention today, which is start a Web3 brand from scratch here. So the second one I mentioned is acquisition. And the best example, and maybe even the best execution we've seen in the NFT space so far, is Nike acquiring Artifact. And so Nike must have thought, okay, we really want to be present in Web3. We want to enter this. We want to enter this in a big way, fast, and with a splash. And so they thought, okay, we could start from scratch. We have an amazing brand. People will like it. Let's do something here. And then they saw Artifact. And Artifact makes really high quality digital fashion for quite a long time. It's a very capable team. Everyone could see it. The reputation was good. And they recently just brought out an avatar collection. This is over a year back, which is called Clone X. And so Nike must have thought, okay, what if we buy this company and therefore get a tremendous head start? Because, like the NFT space is very impatient. That's where we see Artifact shine, because they just leapfrogged everyone really. And the next brand we will see is Adidas. And as of today, they way ahead of Adidas, especially because they bought a company. They acquired a company that was already Web3, that had all the knowledge, all the execution already covered, and they showed that they can do it. They have a product market fit. People like their products, and so buying this company was really a genius move, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it was also a nice deal for the founders of the company. So everyone wins here. And what comes out of it is a very refined brand, Artifact, that has the backing of Nike in the background, and that is just building and also delivering. And they've created, a room where you can, their approach was really cool to the metaverse. They say, we cannot give you a metaverse right away. That takes years to develop. But we can give you a room. We can build it from the inside out. So they gave holders a room where they could display their CloneX, their NFTs or other NFTs, and play around with it, and just get used to digital ownership in digital rooms that you can own, that you can dress up with your NFTs. And what they also did is obviously they have digital fashion and they have phygital fashion, meaning there is actually a physical version of the digital fashion item, and you can get that. And they're playing around with how to combine that, how to use physical items to go in the digital space and the other way around. And so far, it's just a really good effort. And I think, an acquisition going really well. That's not always the case, as we know from business. But in this case, this worked out really well. And just congrats to everyone involved, really. Disclaimer, I don't have any Clone X, so I'm not chilling my bags here. I'm just observing. And so we come to the next one. We have this big competitor of Nike, which is Adidas. And they also, everywhere where Nike is, Adidas competes, and the other way around. Those are the big two sports brands. And so they also want to make a splash. They also believe in Web3. And so what they did, they said, okay, we could just enter, or we could maybe leverage some communities that are already there. And we can partner here and therefore have more acceptance and maybe also grow faster and build faster. And this is where it gets interesting. I think the entry was really well done. They partnered up with the Bored Ape Yacht Club. They partnered up with G-Money, a big influencer in the space, and also Punk's Comic, which is also belongs to a big franchise of NFT projects. And so when they entered, this was done well. They had these partnerships. There were many people incentivized, holders of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and so to jump on this. And so the start was good. They collected around 20 million from the initial sales. And then a little problem arose in terms of being able to deliver something right away. And that's why I contrast, Nike and Adidas. Nike bought the company, so they had execution right away. They had the structures. They had the teams right away that could deliver products. And Adidas didn't seem to have that for a while. And so it took, basically a year to deliver a second digital product, which is digital fashion. It's really nice. I thought it's well thought out. By the way, disclaimer, I do own Adidas NFTs, but I think it's well done. Yeah, so one thing I want to mention about how Adidas entered is, and to me, that's as a branding expert, I'm not sure if I would have done it. And that's they use a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, which is a monkey. You can see it on the video. They use it as the mascot to lead people into the metaverse with Adidas. And so it does make sense, right? Because that's those Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, they really have a good reputation in the NFT space. Everyone knows them. So you definitely use that brand. Oh yeah, Adidas and Bored Ape Yacht Club for sure. But I don't think Adidas needs that brand really, and they could have done something differently, because then they would be independent, right? There's definitely a risk. They don't know what Bored Ape Yacht Club is gonna do in a year, in 2 years, and how that will reflect on Adidas, if they share the same values, if it's going in the right direction. And so having your mascot tied to someone else's company and someone else's brand is kind of risky, I think. So far it works out very well, but we will see how that turns out in the future. And so Adidas, they partnered up with Web3 brands. I think it was a successful partnership, no doubt, that did get them started. But what we can see with Adidas is that the wheels were turning a little bit slower in the background. They also mentioned this. This is big companies. It's hard to act fast. And that's why the point here definitely goes to Nike. They made a great acquisition and were able to deliver products really fast. And that's helping them to win right now. So we have starting a brand outright in Web3 from scratch. We have the acquisition model that Nike did with Artifact. We have the partnership model that Adidas did with Bored Ape Yacht Club, G-Money, and Punk's Comic. And lastly, you can also start from scratch as a Web2 company. You say, okay, we want to enter Web3. How are we gonna do that? Yeah, let's build it from scratch. And that's I want to take the example of Starbucks here. because it's a often used example. And I like to use it not because we don't really know anything yet, but their Starbucks loyalty program, which they want to enhance with Web3, it's very big. It's 26 million people. It's basically the biggest loyalty program in the world. It's very significant for Starbucks. It generates more than half of the revenue for them. And so it's a big move for them to go towards Web3. Like the Web3 community really celebrated this. It's a great sign. But what's interesting about it is how they approach this. And that's why I want to share this example. We don't know that much yet, but to me, that was really beautifully worded and said. And also, I think it might help you with your brand if you have one, or if you know someone with a brand. So their loyalty program was always a two-way street. We have Starbucks and we have the loyalty member. And there was this exchange of value and of ideas, information. But what Starbucks is saying now, we would like to bring together the people in the program. That hasn't happened before. And as it turns out, Web3 is a really nice way to do it, because you give those people tokens they can hold. They have ownership. They have the sense of ownership. Oh yeah, I'm part. I also hold this token. I'm a person that holds the token of Starbucks because I'm a really loyal customer. And then we can connect on that. Like the ones that are loyal for 10 years and counting, like they're in this one group, maybe there's just this newly members and all of this, and you can bring them together really nicely. They can bond over the shared ownership of those tokens. And so it's a really nice way to bring them together. And that's what Starbucks, I guess, intends to do. And I thought that's really beautiful. And why they're doing it is because I think they see the magic of it. They see the power. Like they have perfect control over their customer data, like loyalty, right? So why do they need this? But I think because there's also some risk. Like if you have an NFT, and so this is a token on the blockchain and it's in the wallet, anyone can target this wallet, in the sense of, and this has been done in the NFT space quite often. So, okay, you own this NFT, come to our store, you get 20% off. So now you can imagine like that the owners of Starbucks loyalty member NFTs, like all the other brands, Coffee Fella or whatnot, they will definitely say, okay, if you're a Starbucks loyalty customer, you have this token, come to our store, the next 2 coffees are on us, check us out. And so you have those attacks, and I'm pretty sure Starbucks is aware of this, but what they're also aware of is the magic of bringing people together around a cause, around a shared interest. And this is what they intend to do with Web3, and that's so much more powerful than any attempts that competitors would have. And so I'm really excited to see what's going on there. They want to not only bring their customers together, but they also want to involve their employees. So we will see where that leads. But yeah, I think it's very exciting. It's not a small feat here. Like this is a big loyalty program and company. And so, let's be excited for that future. And those were the 4 ways a brand can enter Web3 that I wanted to talk about. There's many more. Come talk to me. Come write me if you want to more about the topic. I give workshops. I give trainings. I develop a strategy with you. And with that, I want to leave you. I hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Till the next time, have a really good weekend.